Hello, lovelies. I just wanted to hop in here and give you a few answers to questions that I've had along the way. So I've been speaking to hundreds of women over their 50s who are looking to find more flexibility, find more strength, and finding more just peace in their changing bodies. And I have had this question quite a bit lately around, well, I don't really know if yoga is a good fit for me. And also, I'm not sure how yoga at Kindred Warrior is different to yoga at another studio or at a gym. So what I wanted to do today is just give you a little feedback on this. So firstly, when we look at movement in general and exercise, most exercise is designed to escalate our cortisol levels. Now, because of where we are in our life cycle, we already have, in our 50s, there's so much going on, life, children, maybe parents, maybe grandkids, whatever that situation looks like for you, on top of probably working full time as well. Our cortisol levels are already high. Now we want to add in additional movement that spikes cortisol even more. And when we spike our cortisol, then we are going to experience our menopausal symptoms in a more heightened state. So your sleep is affected, your mood swings, your metabolism, as well as your hot flushes. There's a direct link between cortisol levels and the intensity that we feel hot flushes in. So, and I don't want to necessarily put down other forms of exercise. That's not what we're about. But those types of exercise, it's there to accelerate cortisol levels for a reason. But it normally doesn't help to bring the cortisol levels down. Most of those classes or most of those workouts don't even include a stretch or breath practice afterwards. So here's where yoga comes in. There's only two forms of exercise that actually works on regulating the nervous system into rest and digest. Now, yoga is one of them, and then a gentler form of movement is Tai Chi. Now, Tai Chi focuses mostly on moving energy, and the movement is very, very light. Whereas yoga focuses on movement and flexibility in the muscles, just depending on which class or which form you are doing. So for example, at Kindred Warrior, we focus on muscles, strength, and flexibility in our vitalizing flow, our calm flow classes, and our yang to yin classes. But then there's also the idea of working with the other tissues in our bodies. So working with the connective tissue, which will help with flexibility when we are very tight, when we are in habit of rounding, when we are in habit of sitting, that's when our joints will be extremely tight, and therefore we work with tissues instead of muscle to help open and keep us nice and flexible and bendy and stretchy. So our classes at Kindred Warrior that cover that is our yin class, our yang to yin class, and a little extent our gentle flow class. And then we work on the nervous system. And the nervous system here is one of the most important things we want to access during yoga. And this is why yoga can be a great complement to any other form of exercise that you're doing. You do not have to replace whatever you're doing with yoga, but I would highly recommend that you incorporate at least 2 classes a week of yoga so that we can start to help regulate our nervous system. So our classes that work on the nervous system and energy is our gentle flow, slow flow meditation, and to to about an 80% extent, even our vitalizing flow, which is our most dynamic class style, also incorporates that. So hopefully that gives you an idea of why we need yoga as a movement modality in our lives. Now, why we at Kindred Warrior have a different approach to other studios or other places out there. Number one, when you walk into a general gym class, a general, most other yoga studios, not all of them, I can't box everyone together because I haven't been to all of them, but very often what happens in these classes is they rely on numbers and nothing else. So if you are there, or whether you are there or not, people don't really mind. And at Kindred Warrior, we are very, very invested in every single person that comes to us. We understand that you are here to work on your nervous system, and we know that that is a long-term thing. It's not just a one and done. So the last thing we want is for you to walk in and never come back. We would love to see you at least at 2 classes a week because of the beautiful effects that we know it will give you. So getting to know you is very important, and we do that through personalized onboarding sessions and personalized programs that work around what's happening for you and your specific goals. It's hardly ever have I walked into any yoga class worldwide where they've asked me what my health goals were, and they hardly ever touch on injuries or anything that's happening within my body. And very often when they do, the answer I normally get is, oh, that sounds so painful. So just see how you feel, listen to your body, and just rest if you need. And that's the advice I get from those practitioners, and that's not the practitioner's fault really. It's just that they are not trained in actually supporting you. So when you walk into Kindred Warrior and you tell me you have a frozen shoulder, I know exactly how to help you modify that, and our teachers will support you in the same way. On top of that, I will also send you some resources to help loosen and help support the repair of that shoulder. So you're not just getting the yoga class, but you're getting the support to actually heal the injuries and the things that might have brought you to yoga in the first place, or the things that you might have thought would stop you from yoga. The reason why we do that is because we know how important it is to work on our nervous system and how this is a long-term investment in your health. And so we want to make sure that we help you heal and help you prevent further injury. Now, Kindred Warrior, we also have very specific classes for very specific intentions, and you might not experience this, especially going to a general gym class. The teachers are not always the same. Sometimes they are all substitute teachers, and they just teach a general class. They teach for everyone. Whereas at Kindred Warrior, we have specific purposes for every single class. So our most dynamic class, and this is for you if you would like some cardio health and movement and a challenge in your body, that is our vitalizing flow. It's our most dynamic class style, but we also modify and help you into steps according to your ability or your injuries. Now, normally I might not recommend that you start with a vitalizing flow, because especially if you are new to yoga and you just want to learn the poses and learn how yoga feels in your body, we might want to start at a slower pace. So vitalizing flow has that energy, and that's a way to expand energy and getting a bit of that cardiovascular energy in while still soothing the nervous system and providing you with a little challenge, if you like. Then we have Warrior Flow. Now, Warrior Flow is really bespoke to Kindred Warrior. There is no other such form of yoga anywhere really, especially in Melbourne. And this class is designed to help build strength in your bones, in your muscles. And this is so important as we age. We need to, because we can no longer rely on our joints. Let me just take a step back. When we start losing our estrogen in the body, our joints become dehydrated because the estrogen attaches to water and liquids, and because of that lack of estrogen, we lose a lot of liquid in our joints, and that can lend to injuries. So now when it comes to practicing yoga, in perimenopause and menopause and beyond, we can no longer rely on the flexibility of our joints, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I was a gymnast and my joints are extremely flexible because I was mostly stretched and prodded and pushed into specific shapes and all sorts of things. So my joints are really flexible because of that. But because of that, I have actually become quite lazy in using my muscles. And because we now have less estrogen in the body, the joints are becoming dehydrated. We can no longer rely on that flexibility in the joints, and we need to actually rely on the strength in our actual muscles and our bones. And we know that lack of estrogen actually affects our bones. They become more brittle, and this can lead to osteopenia and osteoarthritis. So what we want to make sure that we connect into here is building strength in the muscles. And so our warrior flow classes are designed to support bone health, to build muscle, to build core strength, which we need for balance, to improve your balance, and to improve pelvic health, which we know is also so important for you. As I mentioned, you are not going to get another class like that anywhere in Melbourne. It would be very hard to find this particular style of class. Then we have our yin classes, which is the complete opposite to those two classes. The warrior flow is still an active class. We are still repeating movements. Because we want muscle to have resistance, and that takes a little bit more energy. It's slower than our vitalizing flow, and it's not a flowy class. It's more a repetitive movement class. On the opposite scale, we have yin, and yin is there to help with our nervous system and the connective tissue around our joints. Now, as I mentioned, how important it is to look after our joints over 50, or like in perimenopause and menopause. So the yin actually helps to open up and stretch the connective tissue that might have lumped together. If we're holding something in tension for a long time, the tissues there become dehydrated and they lump together, they knot. So our yin yoga actually helps to open that. During our yin classes, we don't just let you sit there as well. We add in yoga philosophy, we add in contemplations, and we add in mindfulness tools to help you gently feel the support that you need to sit in those stretches for a long time. We then have gentle flow, which is one of our slowest paced classes. And this class is just about moving our joints in a healthy way without putting too much pressure on them. So if you have a few injuries, this is the class that I would highly recommend for you. We also focus in that class a lot on breathwork, which is so important for our nervous system, as well as our digestive system and sleep all depend on breath work. Also, interesting fact, 70% of our detoxification happens through the breath, not the skin or not the other elimination organs. So it's so important for us to really have that good breath. We then have our calm flow and slow flow meditation classes, which are at a gentler pace, than our vitalizing flow, but a little bit more movement and a little bit more challenge in those classes than the yin class and the gentle flow class. Lastly, we have a little combination class. So this is for you if you like the best of both worlds. We have our yang to yin class, and then we have our beautiful so yang to yin is 30 minutes of movement, or half the class is moving the body, just getting the heart rate moving, getting the breath flow going, and then 30 minutes of yin. Now, yang to yin is also not a style that you would see at most places, especially in the Yarra Valley and around these areas. So quite unique as well to Kindred Warrior. So as you can see, we've put a lot of intention into our classes and into understanding how we would like to support our students in staying committed to their practice. They are not just a number for us. We want to have them move and breathe with us for a long time, because we know that this is an investment, not just for now, but into their future. We want to have amazing, incredible students who practice with us up until into their 80s and 90s, which we already have, and they've been with us for about 10, 20 years, so or 10 years now. So it's really good to see that, and we want to help you make this as a part of your life, and we try and make it as easy for you to become a part of our community. So I hope this explains a little bit more about Kindred Warrior and what we're about. And I hope that you have a beautiful day, and we will see you very soon. Bye, my loves.